This week on the show, I have some dear friends of mine from Colorado Christian University, Jared Melton, Ellie Gloop,
It is
and
my school.
My fiance, Kristen Lester. Yeah, here it is. Colorado Christian University, right there. We have the mugs.
Yeah, we actually rebranded, so this is a new. Yeah.
I told them about how on this show we talk about different Christian creators and podcasts and books and movies and shows, and we do little shout outs at the end of every episode. And they were like, we have this podcast we gotta talk about. So you're here to share about your favorite podcast.
Yeah. Jared's actually the one that told me about the podcast, so I'm gonna let him talk about it at first.
Yeah, so it's not, we don't run this podcast, but we listen to it, it's so good.
They're in charge of it.
Yeah, we
Zach
are the
runs this
podcast.
Not the other one.
Yeah,
I'm in charge of all podcasts.
Yeah, Zach just actually
Podcast Lord,
got
perhaps.
a patent. No, so, this podcast is called the Bema Podcast, B-E-M-A. Bema is the Hebrew word for the podium that the Jewish rabbis would stand at when they read the text. And so they're kind of talking about what the Jewish people and how the Jewish people would have read the Bible in their age and kind of still now. So it's this Jewish hermeneutic, meaning how they interpret the Bible, essentially. And the Eastern perspective of, for example, something we talk about a lot is numbers, where in the Western perspective in America, if I say there's 5 apples, then they'll be like, oh yeah, there's 5 apples, like we're just counting 5 apples. Versus in the Jewish perspective, if I said there's 5 apples, they'd be like, oh, 5 books of Torah, Genesis through Deuteronomy. The number 5 is very holy because it's the 5 books. So there's some deeper symbol going on here. And so in the podcast, they talk a lot about that. Numbers is actually a really small part of it. There's way more going on. And there's 2,000 plus years of Jewish commentary on the whole Old Testament that they go through. It's called the Midrash, and a bigger work called the Talmud. So there's so much going on that in America we just don't really talk about as modern evangelicals. And it's not that we're missing a piece of Christianity, but there's 2 sides of the conversation, and when we have the conversation with both sides, it just opens up Scripture in a whole new light. So
Yeah. And Jared actually knows one of the hosts.
Oh yeah, so I it's Marty Solomon and Brent Billings.
I'm sorry, I know him, I'm sorry.
There's so much going on.
Oh no.
Marty Solomon and Brent Billings run this podcast. It's so good. Brent Billings conveniently married the girl that lived across the street from me.
Oh my gosh.
Growing up. So I actually know them, like personally. I was at their wedding, and then Marty and Brent went to the church and taught at the church that I grew up going to. So they're from my area. And then I believe Brent still lives in the state of Idaho, and Marty works for a college campus ministries program, and so he's jumping around all over the place doing that. And so I know them, not like I'm good friends with them, but like my parents know them really well, and that's how I was introduced to the podcast, and then introduced to Ellie, and there's kind of a funny story about the church we go to now. And
yeah, so it was actually funny because I'd heard Jared talking about the podcast, and then I'm a worship intern at a church, and so one of my leaders was like, we're going to start a young adults program. And for young adults, I think we should start listening to this podcast. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Do you listen to
It's
it
called
together?
Bema. Yeah. So literally after that moment, I told Jared, this was before Jared started going to my church. Precursor. Jared now goes to my church. So I was like, Jared, no way that you would mention this, because he kept being like, Ellie, you need to listen to Bema, you need to listen to Bema. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And then at church, they were like, yeah, so for young adults, we're going to start listening to Bema. So I was like, Jared.
And then you were forced to.
Yes.
True. But also.
Don't you love indoctrination? Just kidding. That's true.
But then Jared said that he was looking for a church, so I was like, well, guess what? My church is about to start listening to Bema, which at this point, Jared had like basically finished all of the seasons, which at that point
How many seasons are there?
So there's 6 seasons. Season 1 is Genesis through Deuteronomy, so they go through that. Season 2 is the rest of the Old Testament, and it's not like rushed through, like there are all these episodes. Season 3 is Matthew through Acts, which is really good. Season 4 is the rest of the New Testament, which is also amazing, especially where they do this very long 11-part series, or mini-series of Revelation at the end, which is really good.
Oh gosh.
Season 5 is, like, How Did We Get Here is what it's titled, so from when the end of the Bible being written until now, like what changed, and how did we lose so much. And then season 6 is all this bonus content because it's really good, and they more or less equip you with tools of how to study this in this way on your own. And so all these people wanted more tools and more information, and so they do that, and they kind of have this annotated bibliography style where they bring other people in to talk about their experiences and their books that they may have written. And then they also just recently added 3 more people onto the teaching staff, so now we have a wide variety of perspectives, which is really cool.
Wow.
It's very cool.
So at that point,
That's
Jared
cool.
had finished up to season 5,
Mhm.
which he can tell you more about. But I was like, hey, Jared, my church young adults group is doing that, and he was looking for a church. And so it just happened to work out perfectly that he was like, I would love to go and love to, like, just be a part of starting Bema over again and just listening to it over again. And lucky for all of us, he loved my church. So he just stuck around. But it's been so amazing listening to this podcast, but as a community. Like, Jared can talk about this because he listened to it a lot by himself at first, but they literally say from episode 1 that Bema is meant to be enjoyed as a group, and you're meant to
Interesting.
talk about it and grow with it. And kind of like Jared was touching on with that Eastern and Western perspective that they bring in, it's been so different to hear that Eastern side. Like, not that our Christian perspective is bad, but like I will finish episodes of Bema and I will be like, how is this not something that is taught? Like, this is so fundamental, I feel like, to our faith as Christians, and we were just never taught it because we grew up in America
Yeah.
and not in the East.
Yeah.
I introduced another friend from CCU to the Bama podcast, and she started listening over Christmas break. And today I was like, how are you liking Bama so far? And she was like, I can't believe we never learned this growing up. Like, why did no one teach this? And that's really how it is. Like, there's so much good information where it's just like
Wow.
why did we never learn this? And it's right there for us, which is so
Wow.
cool.
Yeah, but talk about this summer and what you just
yeah.
did every day.
Yeah, so I basically was a driver this summer, and so I was just driving for 8, 9, 12 hours a day. And I
For Usher and
Yeah.
for
I did work for celebrities, so that was exciting.
That is neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's not important. So I did that, but I was driving a lot by myself, picking up groceries, just doing random things. And so I just started listening to this podcast, and I just listened all day and would just dwell on these things. And sometimes I'd stop at an episode that was really impactful, like they all were, but like one that was especially impactful, and just kind of dwell on it for like an hour or two, and then I'd jump back in again because it's so interesting. And they go straight through from Genesis to Revelation in those 4 seasons, and then the 5th one is after. And so I listened to the whole thing in a month, and that was...
The whole thing?
Yeah, I think that was 195 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
It's that good.
It is that good. And it's worth listening. And they recommend, like, just listen through it at a fast pace, and then go back and re-listen to the ones that were really impactful, or the ones that you kind of want to dive deeper
Yeah.
into.
Okay.
And something I love that they do is whenever they're talking, they'll give their perspective, what they learned, but they'll also give some other perspectives, and they'll recommend books and other resources, online
Guys,
stuff.
It's Be Real.
It's legit.
No,
Be
it's
real.
not.
Be Real?
I did not mean
It's
to interrupt
never
you,
been
but we have
It's
to
never
be
been Be
right
Real
now.
on the
Be
podcast.
real.
My phone's filming. Oh no.
Oh, Zach, no! The awkward silence.
silence.
Be real.
I did not mean to
Like,
interrupt
that
you.
is
We're
what
like,
life is
be
all
real.
about.
That is
Being
Be Real.
No,
I didn't mean
and
to
if
interrupt you,
you're-
but
That's okay.
this is
No, but
important.
we
But
had
it's Be
to.
Real. We wouldn't be
It's
being
real.
Guys.
We wouldn't be...
Bema, Be
We
Real.
wouldn't be.
We
That's
wouldn't be
crazy.
being real.
We wouldn't be being real if we didn't be real.
Be real. Hashtag.
I
This
literally
is-
can't
this
believe it
video
just
is
happened.
sponsored by
Be Real.
Sponsored by Be Real, Be Real
Everyone,
Podcast.
take a pause, take a front and back selfie wherever you are, whether you have the app or not.
Oh, drop it in the comments. Can you do that?
No.
On YouTube?
That's okay.
But
Well,
print pictures,
No.
mail them to
Draw it with emoji.
Mail them
Our-
to our P.O.
our
Box.
P.O. box.
Link in the
and-
description.
Not our address. Don't
No.
give that out on the podcast.
But yes, mail your pictures to our P.O. box.
I don't get the problem with listing your address
Well,
online.
because, in 10 years, or in 10 months, when you guys are super famous, top podcast in the world, you don't want someone to,
You never know who
call
can
a
find
SWAT
that
car to
thing,
your
Zane.
house.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Speaking
like,
of SWAT car.
I'm not a very controversial person
Well,
either.
it's a big problem in the video game industry right now. People
really?
will call SWAT. It's called SWAT. I don't know what it's called. But it's
That happened to a friend of
It
mine.
might be swatting, but it's
I'm actually
not right
serious.
now. But it's like people will call SWAT cars on these streamers' houses, and in the middle of them like gaming on live stream, a SWAT car will show up thinking there's a bomb threat or something, and it's really bad.
My
right now.
next Austin prank.
Your next
No,
prank.
no,
You should follow Ellie
Don't
on
watch
TikTok.
no.
Yes,
Watch
please
Ellie.
follow
Follow
She
her.
does all these pranks, not bomb threat pranks. Little less than that.
Pretty epic.
Rapping in
But they are
office.
good pranks.
That one together.
Wrapping
my
the
car
office, got your
wrapped.
car wrapped, yeah.
Anyways, what were we gonna say?
I don't remember. Oh yeah. Just listening straight through is so fun. And they recommend listening through it really fast because it's just this great body of work. And especially now that they're in season 6 and they're still currently going recording, and they're doing random things like reviewing the Chosen series episodes, all these things. And
We vaguely review that show here from time to
I
time,
was gonna say,
spoiler
have you guys
free.
talked about The Chosen?
We
Yes.
have, yeah.
And who have
Every
we had
week.
on the show?
Oh, the creator of The Chosen
That
was
was
my second guest.
yeah.
That's literally iconic.
Shout out to
I'm,
you.
I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to get him back, but we'll see. I think he's busy right now, so I've been trying
That
to reach
makes
out
sense.
to him. But
With
we'll see.
building sets or something.
Yeah, he just is out there tinkering away with the
You
sets.
know,
you
he's
know?
talking with the guy that's playing Jesus. He's probably busy.
Oh, I asked that guy too. That got ghosted. But you'd be surprised. Even the people that like get back to you, everyone's so nice. Like
So nice.
everyone I've ever reached out to, like I feel like just as lifted up when they say no. So many of these like artists are like so nice.
That's
Wow.
cool.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
A couple of YouTubers and stuff that I like. Just today, I got some emails and I was like, "That's so nice of them to not
You're
come
like,
on
hey,
the
no,
show."
actually, we don't want to. And you're like, that is so sweet.
Really took the time.
It really took the time. No, but like they say, they're like praying for you and all these things. It's like,
Oh wow.
That's so nice.
It's actually amazing.
I'm thinking about doing like an episode where I just like
read
through the,
declines?
all the declines of guests I've had.
Like, this is what it means
Wouldn't
to
that be funny?
Christian.
That would be good actually.
Oh, that's so good though. Well, so I want to have them on the show now. If you know them, we should do a Zoom interview. with them.
I could ask Brent and see if they would be willing to
One of them, both of them.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could ask Brent and then they could both. Yeah,
Cool.
because Brent knows me. Marty doesn't know me yet. Although
Not with that
so,
attitude.
So this is cool. So they do an Israel trip every other year, and Ellie and I are actually gonna try to go on this trip next year.
Stop. Actually,
Oh my gosh.
and
I didn't know that.
Basically, they do a lot of like really cool old Jewish stuff. A lot of people go to Israel now and they're like, this is all the stuff Jesus did, and they do that. But then we also get to like there 2 of the days you just walk through the desert, and that's all
Wait,
you
is
do.
it in 2024? Is that when you guys are going?
Yes. Yeah.
Do we go?
2024.
Stop.
You guys-
That'd be so
I think
high.
there's 50
Sponsor
bucks.
all of us.
Please.
Please send us.
And then we'll
donations.
vlog
Send it to
up
the
in
P.O.
Israel.
box.
Send your donations to the
checks.
PO box. Just checks.
We will give you our address for
For
that.
Israel.
I could not write a check if I tried.
You
Do you know how
know
to write a
how
check? No.
Yeah.
Aren't you like
I
a
took a
professional
class.
profession?
You took a class?
Called Adult Living, where they taught you how to write a check, how to balance your checkbook,
Can we
how
all
to
take
pay
this?
tax.
Okay. Well, stay tuned for our Israel
Israel
trip.
vlogs.
In a
Israel
year and a half.
vlogs would be hype.
That would be
We'll be famous.
Is it like June or like August?
I think it's August. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's August.
That's so hype.
Yeah, pretty great. That'd be actually so cool.
That would
Okay.
be a dream. But then you have to start listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
I got
You've convinced
195
me.
hours plus to catch up on.
LOL.
We can do it. We can do it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good shout out. Normally we talk about our shout outs for like 5 seconds, I feel like. So this is good to like get into it a little bit, you know?
It's so good.
And I have a rant of all rants, and it's probably not gonna be that much, but like literally how long did I talk about this album? Yesterday.
An hour.
No. Not an hour. We didn't even talk an hour. Maybe an hour. So longer than the album itself. But you guys said you hadn't. I told you right before the show. Have you heard of Benjamin Williams Hastings?
No.
He's a Hillsong artist, and he wrote the song 100 Billion Times.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Heard that song?
Yeah.
And he did Seasons on the Christmas album.
Okay.
If you know
Yeah.
Seasons.
Yeah.
I love that song. And then this whole album, it's just like the most real, like raw, authentic portrayal of what it means to just like walk with God. And it's like, you know how the Psalms are like ups and downs, and it's not just like being perfect all the time, but it's like
Being
David's, it's be real.
They're being real.
That was gonna be my segue earlier, but I didn't use it. But like literally the amount of be real jokes I made in my head while listening to this.
Wow.
I listened all the way through in a couple breaks because it is like an hour and a half. So I listened on a couple drives yesterday, and I literally I was driving, so I didn't look that close, but had the lyrics, and my jaw was dropped the whole time listening through this album. Of just like, he said that. Like, he talks about like the downfall of like some of the leadership in Hillsong, and he talks about like his own like mental. Nah, I don't want to like speak for him, you know what I mean? But it seems like he's talking about his like mental health and like all these things that like Christians don't really talk about. Yeah. And because we always just act like so perfect. And I obviously like to laugh and like keep it lighthearted, and like I try to keep this show like funny and lighthearted, but it's like I guess my jokes also come from a place of like trying to be real and like make fun of ourselves and things like that. And so to just see someone who like was like putting it all out there, like there's a song dedicated to his wife, just thanking her for being with him through this like seasons he's been through. Yeah. And it's just like, it's crazy that he like goes there for so much of it. I'm like, he said that these things, and he talks about like shadows and how they're like a part of our lives, and but like, are we pulled by them, or are we pulled by the light, and just like all these things. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like we don't talk about that a lot, you know?
Well, it's really cool. So actually, back to Bema, but they have an episode on Lamentations, and it's so interesting. And they had this kind of side tangent, I guess, where they were talking about Christian worship. And like how great Christian worship is, like amazing. But they were talking about how there's this really big hole where like Christian lament is supposed to go. And Marty has, he tells a story about how a family in his church, I think their son had passed away on like a Saturday night. And on the Sunday morning they got there and they were just all like worshiping and rejoicing in the Lord. And this family was like, what, like how, and he was saying with community, like we're supposed to lament with them, like we're in this together. And so he was talking about how there's this kind of hole for Christian lament worshiping, where it's like you can still worship the Lord in your sadness, like that's still, and there's like a whole book of the Bible dedicated on so many Psalms. And so like it's cool to hear that someone's jumping into that. And, like,
I think there's like a new movement in a way of like this like authenticity and just like this transparency of like what it's really like to walk with God. And throughout it, he just talks about like how he knows who God is, but like where he is through all of these things, and where the people are around him through all of these like trials and stuff. And it's still just so worshipful, even though it's like you probably wouldn't get up and sing 90% of these songs to a church, but it's like it's some of the most real worship I've listened to just in my car, you know. And so he just like goes through his like these last couple of years. And some of the songs, I was literally just shocked they were even there. So I'd love to have him on the podcast. But also Brandon Lake is a writer on a lot of them. Oh yeah. And I think he's like another one that's like really pushing that transparency like movement of like Christians struggle with mental health, and like we should check in on each other and like be there for each other, you know? Yeah. It's like that's something we don't talk about a lot, you know?
Yeah. What was the title of the first album?
Oh, this album's called... It's called Anyway. I was like, doesn't know the name. Listen,
I just love that.
I read every word of the album yesterday in front of my face. Read.
Anyway.
I have listened to it. Yeah, and it's just... And I think it's called Anyway. There's one line where he says... It's the song to his wife where he says, you deserve way more than a half-baked song, especially on an album so indulgently long, because he knows he's just going on and on and on. Or like even after one of the songs, it's about like giving it all up to God and praising him anyway and praising him through everything. And then there's like a song he sings after, and it's just like, it's more like echoey in the background, and you can see him singing the chorus, hear him singing the chorus again, but it's saying, I'm just trying to do this. It's like, you don't get that a lot with Christian albums, just like a disclaimer of just like, oh, by the way, I'm not perfect at this. I'm just trying to do what I'm singing in this song.
And the fact that you said it was like acoustic and like sort of unproduced is also so uncommon. Not even just in like the produced music, like worship industry, but just in like churches in general. Like the church trend right now is let's all produce an album and let's all make worship like a really big, like perfect thing. So that's so cool that he's like breaking all
and he's still
so
he's still with Hillsong too. He just did their album, United's album from last year. I don't remember what it was called, but he did the like Little Star song on that. So he's still very much with them. It's not like this rogue like indie album. But it is much more raw and unproduced, which I think is really cool. But I just think the credibility of like, he's not like bitter or anything. He's just like, this is what it's like. This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And so I like literally cried in a couple of songs. It was like, I'm like crying about my future kids one day. I'm like, am I gonna fail them? It's like, what? It really gets you at some points.
Yeah.
I like yelled. I was like, I can't believe he's saying this. I can't believe this is happening. Paused. It was just like, went through it all yesterday.
Yeah.
I had a couple long drives, so that was good. I was like, still focus on the road, focus on the road.
Okay, wipe the tears away.
So, yeah. Did I cut you off at all with the...
No, that's good.
You said everything you want to say?
Yeah.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
All right. Do you guys want to start our game?
shout-out.
Oh, did you have a shout out?
Yeah.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, I told you what it was in the car.
I did not remember that. Okay.
He's like, actually?
My shout out is not as cool as anybody else's here, but I'm shouting out the Bible app.
The Bible app.
The
That's
U version
iconic.
or the Bible app?
The U version.
Okay,
U version.
yeah.
The U version.
Good, such good
And
app.
this is why. Those daily verses.
They get you.
Did you put it on your home screen?
Uh-huh.
Yes,
widget?
they have a widget.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you did the
Because-
widget?
Love the widget.
Widget's the best.
Because I am telling you, it's always the right verse.
It is. It's
for your
always-
day.
For everybody.
I know. And like that's
Universally
just
the
like
right verse. They're picking
for
them out.
everybody. And like literally like I know that's like such a chill thing. Like you guys just deep chatted for 20 minutes. You deep chatted for 20 minutes. But if you have not downloaded the U Bible app,
It's a good time.
they are
Have
also
you done the videos?
Yeah,
They do
just
daily devotional
stories?
videos, so they'll
On
like
the-
have a different preacher or pastor
you
every
seen that?
day.
Yeah.
No.
It's like
And
it's
it's
like an
based-
Instagram story, but you watch it and they like go through the verse and talk about like what it means in
Can I
their
show you?
life and
Yeah.
just
The
like
daily
how,
verse.
why it's impactful.
Oh my gosh. Well, please
So if you don't
download
have a
that. I'm
devotional-
learning more every day. And those verses hit you different and you are just like not even expecting it. And in the middle of your day, it's just a reminder.
And you can start Bible plans together with people.
So if you go
like
home.
my
Yes,
church.
we do those.
So we're in Colorado, and I'm from Idaho, and I moved out here for college, and like I've been at my church at home for like years, and so they all reached out and they're like, "Hey Jared, we're doing this Bible plan together. Do you want to do it with us?" And so it's like this online, like I get to stick with this community and run through this Bible plan together.
That's so
and then
cool.
I can text and be like, "Oh, wasn't this thing so good today?" Like we're all reading the same thing every day.
This is a funny
So
story. This is crazy. We got our engagement photos taken last week.
And
That's
they're
the funniest
so
story.
amazing.
No,
They're
and
literally so good.
done by Ellie's cousin. A shout out.
Shout out Nicholas.
But the week leading up to it, we like went to every store in Colorado, like literally.
This is calling us out.
This is calling us out.
I know this story.
Every single store in Colorado, and we could not find anything to wear, and I was so stressed. Like I was like,
We were
"There's nothing to
stressing
wear."
our booties off.
So stressed, and so we go everywhere. We finally go back. We found like an outfit. But the night before, it was the night before, right? We went to the store.
It was the same day.
So, it was the same day. I'm sorry. We go like every single store in the mall. I'm not joking you. Every single store. And we were arguing about it. And we were like, we can't find anything to
We're
wear.
like,
I was like,
can't
who
find
cares?
anything.
I was
Oh my
like,
gosh,
I'll just
Kristen,
wear whatever.
We were both
I'll just wear
both like
literally whatever.
yeah.
Like, my
Guess I'll just wear
self-enjoy-
pajamas.
I know. We both just have pajamas. But
He's like, wait, why didn't we do that?
I know. So we're literally like doing that, and then that night we were like, we just need to like our New Year's resolution was to like do more Bible studies together, like through like
Get this
like specific ones.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just go onto the U Bible app, and I'm like, let me just find one, and I look up like specific like engagement ones or like marriage ones because I was like, we should just start.
So we started like a premarital.
So we started like a premarital one.
Bible study
and
on
the
the U
first
version.
verse was like, don't stress about like your wedding, like it's gonna be so stressful, lol. And then the verse was like, do not worry about what you wear.
I was gonna say,
And I
from
was-
the Sermon on the Mount.
yes.
Yeah.
And it was
Wow.
literally like, do not worry about what you drink, what you and what you will wear. And we were like, and this was the day we had only been stressed about what to wear for our engagement photos.
What to wear. Mm-hmm.
What to wear.
And I feel like we also stressed about what to eat at one point. Like it
We
was
probably
both
did.
things.
No,
we were
but,
like interesting.
All day. That's all we had thought about. And then, because I think sometimes we think that we have to do like these super huge, like, like find this like huge like podcast or something. And like, it's like, we shouldn't just like read a book of the Bible because like that's so like mid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel
Yeah.
like
Who reads
sometimes
the
that's what you
Bible
think.
anymore?
But like
Imagine.
without in a bigger context.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
We
it's
need
like
something
we
supplemental.
to supplement and like help guide us
Yeah,
through
yeah.
it. And so that's why we always like fall out of doing like these just like little random like devotionals because we're like, oh, we could listen to a better podcast or
I
things
do.
like that.
Yeah, I do sometimes think that I'm like like I want like a book or something else
Yeah,
that
like
I can
just
read
like go around.
other than like a one phone screen long.
Yeah, a straight
yeah.
Bible verse, just
Yeah,
like
right.
one Bible verse. And so then we were like, we should just start, like, we'll find a better one later or whatever. And then it literally was like, stop stressing about what you're gonna wear.
Yeah, really.
And we
No.
were like, called
Apparently
out.
I'm not too good for a
No,
little
the
page
Bible.
of Bible.
No, but I feel like that's like a thought that just, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
For me at least. But
with the chance of sounding like a broken record on the Bama podcast, they talk. It's episode 25, I think, and it's called "Creating a Space," and it's like one of my favorite episodes. And they talk about how like with Adam and Eve, like God created the world, and then humans filled it, and then like we messed it up, and so then he started over, and he's like, God created the world with like after Noah. And then humans filled the world, and then we messed it up. And then he's like, okay, scratch it out. We're going to do it a different way. You guys are going to build the space, the tabernacle, and then I'm going to fill it. And then it ends up being perfect. And so that's like, they talk about the spiritual
That's
disciplines
interesting.
in that way, where they're like, if all we have to do is create this space for God to work, and when he fills it, then it's perfect. And so it's kind of like that. Like,
Yeah.
the YouVersion app is so great because like we're just creating a space for God to work,
yeah.
and then he's filling it
Yeah.
and working through our lives. And like that's one of those
Wow.
things. And
Yeah.
it's so cool.
Yeah.
Going off of that, like this year has truly been, like not even just this year, like this past 6 months have truly been like the most growth time, and it's because of that.
Yeah.
Like I've just given myself and God the space to work through Bema, through the chosen, through people,
Yeah.
and it just worked. So that's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Shout outs.
That's like those are some good shout outs this week. I love it. Yeah, sometimes it's just hard to come up with stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this was like
Start our own podcast.
Jared and I are like, actually,
a late night spin-off?
That's
Guys,
right.
stop. That'd be
we just
so
remembered.
good.
We can
I
still
love it.
remember.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. This is too iconic.
We have phones of our own.
Yeah.
Shall we
I
start
have
our
no
game?
Do we want to do a game?
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Prep
Let's
it.
get
Fun.
it going. All right.
Hi.
I've taken over the desk again for
Well, I just got
exclusivity of my laptop screen, so they can't
Not married
see.
yet. So.
Yeah, not married yet.
Like,
The game we're playing is we've played it on the show before. Guess the Christian movie based on the bad review.
It's not gonna go well.
Are you guys
Have
ready?
you guys seen a lot of Christian
Yes.
movies?
I mean, yes and no.
Okay.
Jared
same.
was not Christian until yesterday, so
Yeah.
Everything
First
he just
one to
told
2
you about that
points
podcast.
wins.
So the Bema. No, I'm just kidding.
He listened to all 195 episodes yesterday. And now
Now I'm a Christian.
he's a
So
Christian.
go listen to that podcast.
it's really powerful.
It's that good. All right, are we ready? Round
Is
one.
it,
Did you
wait,
say
is it like
first
a
one to
buzzer
2
moment?
points?
Yeah,
First
we're
one
like,
to
are we
2
against
points.
each other or is this a group game?
It's individual. Correct.
So how do we?
A hand raise?
Yeah, hand raise.
Yeah.
I didn't prep a
Kick Ellie's
buzzer.
coffee over.
You didn't prep the fart buzzer?
No, that's what we use on the show.
We can just make. We can
But you
We're not cool enough
can
for
you
the
see
fart
can you
buzzer.
see the screen?
No.
No.
I don't need the pizza box to block.
No.
Okay.
I think we're-
Here we go. This is our first terrible 1-star review.
Like, you do my
Well, I don't know, like bad Christian. I guess.
I'm gonna give you options.
Is it a 1-star review of like a good Christian movie, or
Oh,
like,
we
is it
do
a
multiple
1-star
choice?
Christian movie?
It's multiple choice.
Oh, okay. That's.
Yeah. Here we go.
The Lord of the Rings.
That's
No, no.
arguably not
Harry
Christian.
Potter 4.
4.
All the Christian moms are quaking when you just said Harry Potter is a Christian movie.
Family
That's
Camp.
blasphemous.
Have you guys seen that movie?
Book of
It just
Mormon.
came out this like last
No.
year. It's so cringe.
Wait, have you guys all seen
Did
it?
you say the Book of Mormon?
Guys,
No,
okay.
I said the Book of Eli.
It was like
Pause the Fortnite.
musical.
I have Family Camp pulled up.
Yes! I get a point.
No. No, because like literally, I was gonna do that movie, but you have an advantage because you're already thinking about it. So
But she
You
Read
just-
us the review. Read us
Yeah.
the review.
Okay,
that
this-
can be our starter.
this is a little warm up. You're right, because
Okay.
this review is too good not to read. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Family camp.
Bad movie is bad. That's the first sentence.
That's the subject.
Bad CGI gopher. Gopher? Oh, the gopher.
Yeah.
Gopher.
What?
I was like, is that a character?
Yeah, there's
I
a
remember that.
CGI gopher and it looks so bad.
So bad. Wife was irritating. Premise of movie is ridiculous.
Wait, what is he saying? Like his wife watching the movie with him was irritating, or like the wife in the movie was irritating?
It's like my wife was just ticked off
Not
the
like
whole
Sarah
time.
Not like his movie.
Very upsetting.
Oh my gosh. The premise of this movie was ridiculous. The sister had no reason to push that boy off the bridge. My favorite parts is when they weren't trying to cram in religion down my throat, which was 80% of the movie. Some people are saying this is the funniest Christian movie. After 2 hours of sitting through this, that's got to be a pretty low bar to clear.
Family camp.
No,
I can't believe you would you have gotten that?
I think it's actually
After
Noah.
Gopher.
I'm gonna go with
Kristen, I
Noah.
would've-
I'm gonna go with Noah.
Yeah.
Noah.
Yeah.
It's family camp. All right.
Okay.
I've got to find a new...
We're all at 5 points.
Ugh, felt like a Nicholas Sparks movie.
Noah.
The book...
Raise your hand.
Family camp.
The book was a true love story, not a romance novel. It was a story of bitter, angry, abuse, hurt woman and a man who loved her past it. She wasn't rolling in the sheets and laughing the way they portrayed her in the movie. And
The Book of Ruth.
and his love was solid, firm, and loyal to God more than dreamy Prince Charming they portrayed.
And this was a 1-star review.
Yeah, this was a 1-star review. Does anybody know what the movie is before I give you the multiple choice?
Give us multiple choice because
Okay,
I'm just gonna
okay.
expose and embarrass myself.
No.
Is
What
it-
are you gonna say?
Fireproof. I'm gonna
Oh,
see that.
it's not fireproof, but that's a good
good.
one. Good guess. Is it Come Sunday,
Oh, that is.
Let There Be Light, or Redeeming Love?
I mean,
I feel like everyone knows it.
Redeem love.
Was that your
yeah,
guess?
yeah.
We all got a point.
I was definitely gonna say that.
Oh man,
That was a 1-star.
No,
review
he was
for
gonna say
Redeeming
Noah
Love.
again.
he was gonna say no again.
I was actually gonna say Exodus.
Oh.
I should have found 2 other romance ones. It's
That's
tricky.
I don't think I've seen it in a long time. Like most of these I saw in theaters and then just like never
Redeeming
saw
Love
again.
just came out, Jared.
Well,
so
that one I
that's
haven't
actually
seen then,
embarrassing.
so I've been too busy listening to Bayma.
Are we ready for the second one?
Yeah. Third.
Yes, the third. A pathetic attempt to describe God and his relationship with people, vice versa.
I know this one.
What is it?
The Shack.
No. Good guess. I was only confused by the plot, the dialogues, and everything about the movie. If anyone wants a better movie worthy of spending time on, watch The Old Evening with a Perfect Stranger.
Now we have to watch it.
That's their shout out for the week.
Not a
That did
fan.
give me goosebumps knowing how much God loves us. Oh, they do a little nice words at the end. But it's still
Wait, read
1
the
star.
first sentence again.
A pathetic attempt to describe God and his relationship with people and vice versa.
Okay, what are our choices?
Okay, any blind guesses?
I mean, The Shack, but no.
Is it The Son of God, The Young Messiah, An Interview with God, or Let There Be Light? I don't know.
An interview with God.
That was my guess.
That was your guess?
Yeah.
I just raised my hand because they did.
Noah. It's Noah, actually. No.
Dang it, Jared. That
What
was
is
your
it?
best chance.
It's An Interview with God.
Okay, that's
We
what
need a
I just stand
tiebreaker.
bargaining.
We need a tiebreaker. I'm going to read a few of these ones in a row. This is the most blasphemous anti-Christian movie I've ever seen.
Wow.
Good acting, great effects, terrible storyline.
Oh.
It has to be 1 star to peddle this nonsense. I would give it no stars if I could. If I had to select a 0-star rating, I could. This is an embarrassment. I'm trying to find one more.
These are all different.
It is a scam and not of God. What do you think?
I think,
have a
genuine answer, I
Yeah.
think it's Noah.
Oh, it is
I
Noah!
was gonna say Passion of the Christ. And then you were like, not a good book. And I was like, no, that would be the Bible
Okay.
as a whole. So.
Switch places with me because I
Dang
have one
it.
that I want to do.
Okay,
Because- no,
bonus
because-
round,
Bonus
Kristen.
round.
I like it.
Ready for this?
Yeah.
1-star review. Minus 900 stars.
Oh.
No.
I thought this movie was a Christian movie. Little did I know that this movie was actually secretly sending satanic messages. Me and my family are mortified.
No.
It's Satan and they are trying to brainwash all of us, and me and my God will not stand for this.
Oh, and
me
God.
and me and my husband will do me and my husband will do everything in our power so that this movie will be removed.
Removed From where?
Lord of the Rings.
No.
Oh, that was a
Like
good
one
guess.
of those.
I did have to leave out two
Oh,
things,
yeah.
or it would have given
I
me
have a
away.
guess.
What is it?
Is it the star?
Yes.
What is that?
What is that one?
I did that in the last time I did this.
You did? Have you
Yeah.
read this one?
Yeah, I might have.
I do watch the
Wait,
episodes.
what is this
Don't you
about?
worry.
It's an animated.
It's an animated movie.
It's like a DreamWorks. No, it's Sony. Because
Okay.
it was this.
Like a
it was
Christmas
right after
movie.
the Emoji Movie. They were like,
Oh, no.
you know, we'll follow that up with
Yeah, the star.
the,
Jesus.
the story of Jesus' birth, and it's just the Christmas story.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes!
Yes.
Okay.
They spent the cover for that.
The star is iconic.
I
Is it
have
really
watched
actually
your videos.
satanic? Be real.
No, it's not.
No, not really. I think I must have like fallen asleep through that satanic part.
Me and my husband will do everything in our power. Minus 900 stars.
They're less powerful than I think she thinks, because I think it's still out there.
Here are the parts I left out
Sorry,
where I
God.
knew it would go away.
Whoops.
Here are the parts I left out.
About the talking donkey.
Little did I know that this movie was actually secret. Me and my family are mortified. The star! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. The goat! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
There were no goats back then!
It's Satan. They are trying to brainwash our
It's
kids.
Satan, the goat.
They are
It's
trying
Satan.
to brainwash our kids. But me and my God, lowercase God, will not stand
Oh.
for this.
This.
So which god? We don't know.
Which one could it be?
Lowercase G.
Zeus, for sure.
Anyway, so welcome to my
taking
podcast.
it
Welcome
down.
to my show.
Close it out, babe.
Close it out.
Close out the vlog.
So,
Vlog.
if you guys are interested, please send to our PO box. We are really wanting
Send some
money
likes.
for Israel. Anyway, leave us a like, leave us a comment. Give Ellie and Jared a like, a follow, bring them back onto the show.
Ellie's TikTok.
Ellie
Oh,
TikTok,
yeah,
what is it
Ellie
called?
Gloop, GLUP.
Yes.
Like
Late night chat
Augustus,
with
you know the
Ellie
one.
Late night chat with
And
Jill Melton. And we'll see you.
Augustus Gloop.
Oh, Crystal.
And what else am I supposed to say? We will all sing a note to close it out. 3, 2, 1.
That was good. That was good. Actually.